Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're taking a really fascinating look at the ultimate freelance challenge. We're going to pull apart a highly distilled set of instructions from our source material on hitting that absolutely crucial first financial milestone. Let's be honest, right? Launching a business usually involves a whole lot of chaos and, well, a ton of coffee. But today, we're unpacking a blueprint that wastes absolutely no time and demands immediate, tangible results.
Okay, let's dive right into this. 29. The source material doesn't give us some vague timeline like, I don't know, sometime next year or whenever you feel ready. No, it anchors everything on day 29. There's this extreme specificity and honestly a pretty heavy psychological weight to this exact day. It represents the precise moment where all your preparation absolutely must yield actual, undeniable results. It acts as this ultimate forcing function.
And then, suddenly, we leap right to this $1,000. The source inextricably links that ticking clock of 29 days directly to this highly specific financial target. It's a really deliberate, triumphant contrast to the anxiety of a deadline, don't you think? Day 29 isn't just about finishing a month. It is entirely defined by reaching this $1,000 finish line.
Section 1, the Day 29 milestone, demanding action. Now, you've got to love that the text doesn't ask for results on day 1, or even nicely rounded off to day 30. It demands action precisely on day 29.
So, taking a look at the timeline here. On day 1, you're just starting out. It's the blank page, and we all know it's basically impossible to get results from that immediately. Fast forward a bit, and by day 15, right in the middle, you're deeply in the trenches building that foundation. But look at where the timeline inevitably pulls you. The narrative tension just builds and builds relentlessly until that critical 29th day, where the mandate is crystal clear, getting your first $1,000. So why does the source isolate this exact figure? Well, getting your first $1,000 is so much more than just a paycheck. It's the definitive milestone. It is literally the ultimate proof of concept. In this whole framework, generating this specific amount by day 29 is the absolute validation required to prove that your offers and your skills actually have real market value. Moving on to Section 2, the practical roadmap, bridging the gap. Let's shift our focus from the what and the when to the how. Here is where the source material shifts gears brilliantly to the strict mechanism of exactly how this is done. We get this direct quote: teach a practical roadmap from $0 to $1,000 a month. So the crucial point is that word right there, practical. The source completely rejects abstract theory. It demands an actionable guide that literally anyone can follow. Let's move through this and see how it builds across 3 distinct phases. Step 1 is that classic frustration of starting at $0. Step 3 is the triumph of hitting that $1,000 a month mark. But step 2, the practical roadmap, that is the indispensable bridge. You can't just magically teleport from step 1 to step 3, right? The source explicitly mandates that this exact bridge has to be built. The stark, uncompromising reality dictated by the prompt is totally clear. You start flatlined at 0, and you must make a massive, definitive leap to $1,000. There is no participation trophy here. It is a binary state from absolutely nothing to something substantial, and that roadmap is the only thing that makes this leap possible. But there is a very subtle yet profoundly important detail hidden in the text that we really need to call out. Notice the slash and the word month. It's not just make $1,000 once and you're done. The recurring goal is $1,000 per month. This implies that the roadmap being taught absolutely must lead to a sustainable, recurring income stream. It's not about a one-off win or, a lucky gig. It's about engineering a permanent shift in the freelancer's business model. Which brings us to Section 3, implementing real strategies, executable tactics. This is really the climax of the source material. And this brilliantly illustrates a sharp, uncompromising distinction. On one side, we have theory, abstract concepts, and the kind of motivational fluff that makes for a really great inspirational poster, but definitely doesn't pay the rent. The source text aggressively discards this. On the other side, we have real strategies. We're talking exact scripts, precise pricing models, actual outreach tactics. It is all about actionable methods. To really appreciate how tightly engineered this brief prompt is, just notice how these concepts balance out in a matrix. We have the specific mandates: teach a practical roadmap, and show real strategies. And then we have the exact targets those mandates are aimed at: going from $0 to $1,000 a month, and doing it by day 29. Every single word carries so much weight. The mandates just lock perfectly into the targets. Now, what's really interesting about how this all comes together is the deliberate weight of this entire framework. It tells you exactly when the target is, day 29, exactly what the goal is, that first $1,000, exactly how you get there, a practical roadmap, and of course, the strict standards you must maintain, which is using real strategies. It is, quite frankly, a masterclass in focused, outcome-driven instruction. And that leads us directly to this final provocative thought. Based entirely on the rigid constraints of the blueprint we just unpacked, are your strategies real enough for day 29? It's not about whether your ideas are good, it's about whether they are actionable enough, practical enough, and potent enough to generate actual recurring revenue on a ticking clock. Keep that question in mind as you look at your own roadmap. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I really hope this focused breakdown has given you a powerful new lens on hitting that first major milestone.